You spent roughly 15,000 hours in school, and after all that time, nobody ever handed you the one document that now runs most of your financial life. It isn't your tax return, and it isn't your bank account. It's the thing that quietly decides whether your income disappears every month or slowly turns into something you own. That decision gets made every month, usually before you even notice it was a decision. And it isn't only school, it's everything around it. The whole quiet education you soak up just by growing up, all of it points the same way. Learn, work, earn, be careful. It's a real education, it's just half of one. Because there's a second document almost nobody ever gives you. And the strange part isn't that they skipped it, it's which half they skipped. Think about everything you were ever taught to do with money, not the fine print. The general message underneath it. Be responsible and don't mess it up. I call that the operator's manual. It isn't a book anyone printed. It's a set of rules you pick up without noticing, from school, from your parents, from career advice, from the world around you. And it has one job. It teaches you how to operate, how to earn money, pay your bills, keep your life running, and avoid blowing it all up. That's a real skill, and most people who do it reliably are already ahead. But read that manual closely, and you notice something. Every page is about money moving through your hands, how to earn it, how to hold on to it, how to not lose it. Not one page tells you what to do when some of it is supposed to stay. You were taught how to earn a place in the system. You were never taught how to own a piece of it. And it's not that the people who taught you got it wrong. Most of them were working from the same single document you were. You can't hand down a page you were never given yourself. The lessons weren't wrong, they were incomplete. And once you see the manual for what it is, every basic money rule you've ever heard starts to rhyme. Look at the advice almost everyone grows up with. Get good grades, get a stable job, save what you can, don't get into trouble. Every one of those is about protection. They teach you how to keep money from hurting you. They don't teach you where part of that money is supposed to go next. And they're not bad. They're the foundation. The problem is that the manual stops too early. It teaches you how to survive financially. And that can feel a lot like financial education, but it isn't the same thing because none of it answers the one question that actually changes your future. What do you do with the money once you've earned it? That's the page that's missing. Read the manual to the very end and you hit the same blank space. It tells you how to fill the account. It never tells you what that money is supposed to become. The last instruction is basically be careful with it, and then it stops. Picture the two documents side by side. On the left, the operator's manual. Earn, protect your income, avoid damage, stay stable. On the right, the second document. Own, convert income, build assets, create compounding. Same money, two completely different sets of instructions. The manual keeps you safe. The blueprint tells you what comes next. And this is the part that's easy to miss. You can do everything on the left perfectly, a good job, a clean budget, no debt, money in the bank, and still never turn any of that stability into ownership. That question has an answer. It just lives in the other document. So let's open it, and the first line might surprise you. You don't have to quit your job to use it. You don't have to start a company or become some full-time investor staring at charts all day. You can be an operator at work and an owner with part of every paycheck at the same time. Those two things were never in conflict. So what does the second document actually say? Take one paycheck and picture it landing in your account. In the first version, it does what most paychecks do. It covers the rent, the food, the subscriptions, the small things across the month. And by the time the next one lands, it's basically gone. Now take that same paycheck with the same amount and the same bills, but this time, before life absorbs all of it, a planned piece gets moved. It doesn't get saved in a drawer, it gets converted, turned into a small ownership stake, something that stays after the month is over. That piece doesn't vanish at the end of the month, it stays, and slowly, quietly, it starts adding to itself. And here's the strange part. Every other line on your statement starts over each month. The rent, gone and due again. The groceries, gone and due again. But this line doesn't start over. It's the first part of your money that carries something forward instead of going back to zero. None of that needs a bigger salary, it's the same paycheck. The only thing that changed is where part of it goes. That's the whole shift the manual never mentioned. It's not about earning more or spending less. It's about sending a piece of what already comes in somewhere different before the month swallows it. Now that small piece you're converting into, what is it? Assets, ownership, compounding. Those are chapters we've already covered in other videos. This one is about why they were missing from the document in the first place. You were given the first half of the full document, the part about earning, not the part about owning. And there's one piece of that second half you can't fully make up later. There's one part of this you can't get back. Almost everything in the second document you can start at any age. The skill of earning you can build at 25 or at 55. Converting income into ownership you can start the day you understand it. Those parts wait for you. But there's one ingredient the whole thing runs on, and it behaves differently from the others. Time. I'll say this part carefully, because it's where a lot of people quietly flinch. If you're watching this a little older, already feeling like you started too slow, there's a thought that tends to show up. It sounds like, I get it, but I've probably missed my chance. That thought is heavier than it sounds. It isn't really about money. It's the quiet fear that the useful years are already behind you, and that understanding this now is almost a cruel joke. I want to take that seriously and then set it down, because the point of this isn't that you're late. Picture two copies of the exact same blueprint. Both get the same ownership page, the same instructions, the same plan. The only difference is when that page gets added. One gets it earlier, the other later. You don't need a single number to feel what happens next. The earlier copy simply has more time for the later pages to do their work. So the cost of waiting isn't a punishment. It's just less time for those pages to add up. You weren't failing all those years. You were reading the manual you were handed and reading it well. Nobody told you there was a second one. You were never behind because you lacked discipline. You were missing a page you were never shown. The question was never whether they failed you. It's what you do now that you can finally read both documents. So what does the finished document look like? It's not complicated, just 3 moves. Earn. Use the skill you already have, the one the first manual gave you. That part stays. Convert. Take a deliberate portion of what you earn and give it a different destination before the rest of your life has a chance to absorb it. Hold. Give it time. Let the later pages do their work instead of rewriting the plan every time the news gets loud. That's how the document finally becomes complete. When income arrives, the goal was never to flip your whole life upside down. It's to make sure part of your work leaves the month as ownership, not just as spending. And there's something quietly satisfying about it. The 2 documents were never really enemies. The operator's manual you were handed, earn, protect, stay stable, doesn't get thrown away. It becomes the first page of the blueprint. The foundation, everything else gets built on. The skills don't change, and neither does the paycheck. What changes is that the document finally has a second half. So growing up, were you handed the manual or the blueprint? Were you taught how to earn or how to own? Tell me below in the comments. And if you want to see why waiting is so expensive, the real math behind that missing page, watch this next. I'll see you there.